What's up, guys, and happy Tuesday night. This is the pre-scout. We are live every single weeknight at 10 p.m. Eastern time, going through all the latest news, all the stuff happening in the hockey world, in the NHL world, and of course, looking ahead at tomorrow, looking at picks for tomorrow. And of course, for all of you guys tuning in live right now, there are games going on. We've got game time left in the early games. We have a game that still hasn't started yet. So for you guys that are here live right now, and for myself, looking at some of these bets, for sure, we're going to still touch on some stuff going on right now. But we want to make sure, for the sake of people watching this the next day and overnight when the games are already over, that we don't spend too much time talking about the games that have already completed. People are listening to it. But huge shout out to all of you guys that supported on night one with me and Carmine. It was unbelievable. Support you guys showed was awesome. So far, so good. We hit the 3% free play and client play on the first period over. Florida and Chicago, that was awesome. We had like no goals through 10 minutes, and the first period ended with 3 goals. So that was awesome to see. The funny thing is, after Florida dominated through most of that game, it ended up just being a 3-2 final in that one. And of course, a couple games still going right now, but look at all that and much more moving forwards. Shout out to Russell with us. Shout out to Hal with us. Shout out to our guy Lou, Chris, and Matt with us here as well. As you guys can see what I'm rocking here, obviously you know which team I'm cheering for, and it's going to be a really long baseball game. Hopefully, whatever a lot of you guys are watching it, these guys came out on top and on the right side of things, we'll call it. But without further ado, we're going to go into the games for Wednesday. Going to be just me tonight, so it'll be a quicker video. Wednesday night, got a guest. Thursday night, got a guest. And waiting to confirm a guest for Friday. But guys, we're going to have guests all the time from different networks, from different jobs, from media, from betting, from all kinds of different perspectives. So it's really nice. And I'll tell you guys right now, the guy coming on tomorrow night, a lot of you guys in the betting world definitely know who he is. He's going to bring some hot takes, going to bring some energy. Tomorrow, we are bringing on Gabe Morency. Super excited to have Gabe with me tomorrow night. Mason, appreciate that. Thank you for that. Thought I had the audio all set up, but we should be all good. So we got Gabe Morency joining me tomorrow night. Gabriel Morency from Sports Grid, giving me his picks, giving me his futures, and we're going to run down the entire Thursday card. So an overnight look at Thursdays, and it's going to be awesome. So we're going to pick his brain. All of you guys that have any questions for Gabe as well, we'll take questions. We'll go over things and just kind of reach out to him as far as all that's concerned. So without further ado, let's bring up Odds Logic. Of course, we're always using Odds Logic here at Wager Talk and any shows that we do with Wager Talk. And taking a look here, I think that when we look at this board and we look at Odds Logic right now, I got to say, this is probably a time in the night where you want to be looking at the openers, guys. You want to make sure that you have an idea of what the openers are, so that when you look the next morning when you wake up, or you look in the afternoon, or you look before pregame, you have an idea of which way things have gone. And of course, as you can see on Odds Logic, you can look at the openers, of course. You can look at the money and the tickets. You can look at Pinnacle, Circa, and you can check things out. South Point, FanDuel, Westgate, DraftKings. But I think it's nice to see for yourself as well, where the number is at, let's say, 10 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Eastern, midnight, whenever you're going to bed even. The next morning when you wake up, check to see where the numbers are. And then you can kind of go from there and kind of make your decision. It's important to respect the market, to see where the market's going and where the movement is going as far as that's concerned. Russell, sorry for the issues there. Appreciate it. Mason, Hal, appreciate you guys. Got things all figured out. So we got guests for the rest of the week, guys, is what I was trying to say there. I was also trying to say that we're going to be recapping some breaking news and some big stuff that happened in the league on this show, of course. But we also don't want to talk about too much that's going on, so that people that are watching this show later on, already know what happened. For example, if I start sweating out this Blue Jays game right now, everyone watching in a couple hours from now is already going to know if they won or lost the game. So it's not going to be any good for them and any good content for them. Mason, yeah, exactly. Got to get Lawrence on after losing to the Habs. Yeah, oh man, that game's going to be really good. That game's going to be really good. All right, well, let's dive into that one right away here. Montreal, Toronto, minus 160 opener. Circa showing a minus 150. Bet online minus 163. Number has not moved too much in that one. Yeah, you know what, Mason, you're right. You're right. People's lost. The only thing is, though, as I will say, and you're completely right, and I realize and I recognize, because we have puck time at 11 a.m. Eastern, this show is probably going to get the bulk of its views anyway, live and then overnight. But I do hope that I can get some people tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon watching the show. But I guess at that point, people are probably going to be watching puck time. So it's a bit different. But you're right. I hope eventually we do have just an absolute packed crowd. Chris, what's up? I'm here to support. Hope you killed this year, Andrew. Thank you, Chris. Always love the back and forth as well. I know you got your teams you cheer for. I got my teams that I cheer for, but you're always supporting. So I really do appreciate that. All right, guys. Montreal and Toronto. 1-0 was the score of last year's game between these two teams. These teams play every single year to kick off their seasons. They start their seasons against each other every single season, and it was 1-0. And if you're a fan of expected goals, if you're a fan of advanced metrics and all that stuff, at the end of the day, I don't use, solely that info to make picks. But looking back at that game last year, that should have been probably a 5-2 game in favor of Toronto. I'll be the first one to admit it. And Samuel Montembeault had one of the best games of his career, and they won 1-0 in a home opener game and a season opener game. You guys know, last year, the first period overs were a good bet for me. We are 1-0 with the first period over bets already this season. We got it done earlier today with Panthers and Blackhawks first period over. I'll tell you what, I think the first period over in Montreal and in Toronto is a good bet for tomorrow. I think you look at the added offense with bringing in a guy like Ivan Demidov for the Montreal Canadiens, with Zachary Bolduc being brought in to the lineup. You've got a guy like Noah Dobson now on the blue line. One more year of Lane Hudson, who has been unbelievable. And look, I think that people will underestimate the value that Mitch Marner brought defensively for the Maple Leafs. I know that's going to sound crazy, and I know some people might not believe me with that, but he did bring value defensively as a two-way forward. They're going to miss him. The replacements they had for him, Matthias Michelli, Dakota Joshua, and Nicholas Waugh. Those three players are going to be awesome depth pieces. Are they going to be able to score as much? Maybe not. How are they going to be defensively? We're not sure. But the first period over is something that's kind of intriguing to me. So we go over here, take a look at it here. Look at the total, over 1.5 goals, minus 120 at Pinnacle. First period over, Montreal, Toronto. I'm interested in that one, guys. It's something that I like, and I think both teams probably get on the board. I'll tell you, Austin Matthews does really well against the Montreal Canadiens, and Cole Caulfield does really well against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So those two guys, anytime goal scorer, they're the favorites on both their teams always, obviously, but there's a reason why they are. I think that'd be a good one to look at. Looking at some of the lines, though, I wanted to mention it and kind of go over it here, because when you look at this series, it's going to be a lot about that. And you guys know I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. I'll try and remain unbiased, but looking at these lines, Cole Caulfield to the left of Suzuki, Juraj Slafkovsky to the right of Suzuki, that's the mainstay line. Other than that, there's going to be a bunch of different lines. Newhook, Kapanen, and Demidov, Bolduc, Doc, Gallagher, and Laine, Evans, and Anderson. They've really spread things out. Like, people thought that Laine was going to be on the second line. People thought it was going to be Anderson, Evans, and Gallagher together for the whole entire season. That's not the case. They've really spread things out. So if you guys are looking for prop bets, I think Kapanen could be a guy you could look at prop bets with. Newhook could be a guy you could look at prop bets with. Obviously, Demidov is going to be a guy people are going to look towards to make something happen. And I don't blame anybody. He's going to be awesome. First real start of an NHL season for him, I guess we could say. I mean, he played regular season games. He played in the playoffs last year, but could be getting off to a huge start. Could be a goal or an assist for him. But I'll tell you what, Oliver Kapanen, I think, could be a guy we could look at to have some success. So wouldn't mind looking at that whatsoever. Shout out to Joe. What's up, Joe? Got to get you on with me sometime. We'll get. I'm so glad that hockey is back. Joe says, yeah, Joe, I hope you had a great first day. I hope you're enjoying these games. I know we still got lots of games left, Colorado and LA, the late ones. So thanks a lot for tapping in, Joe. Really appreciate that. Chris, I love how you show the lines with graphics this year. I'm going to do my best. It's tough when you're by yourself doing this, but it's exciting. It's definitely exciting. So thank you on that. Yeah, Mason, just try being in text. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I usually use DraftKings and FanDuel because of that, Mason, because most people can use those books, but I can't even use those myself. So I use those books as references for people and when I'm talking on shows, but I can't even bet at DraftKings or FanDuel myself either. And DraftKings and FanDuel both said they were coming to Canada, but they only came to one place in Canada. So that kind of bothered me. Joe, I know you know what I'm talking about with that. I mean, not having access to DK and FanDuel and that stuff can be a little bit frustrating. What was I going to say here, guys? Oh, yeah. So when I look at these lines, I mean, instantly, I thought that second line could be where all the value is for the Montreal Canadiens. I really think it is. I think that's where the value is going to be. Looking at some of these lines, looking at the points here, I'm going to pull it up. The player points over under. Okay, here we go. We'll bring it back on stage for you guys. I'll try and get that zoomed in. Let me know. You guys let me know in the chat if you can see this okay, how that is for you. Yeah, that should be good here. All right, looking at things now. Demidov point is plus 105. Part of me thinks like, man, they're expecting a lot of him plus 105 from them. We scroll down, line A plus 150. He's on the fourth line, and they're giving him that. We look towards the other guys. They're not even showing them. You know, Bull Duke here at plus 170. I think he's got a lot of value. As far as Maple Leaf players are concerned, here's a guy that we all know is going to be an impact player, Matthias Michelli. People are expecting him to be an immediate player that you want to look towards to have success. He's not going to replace Mitch Marner, but he's going to be a really good guy for them. Matthias Michelli at plus 135. He's a pretty good player to look at. And here's the deal. Let's be honest here, guys. Uri Slafkovsky plus 105, right? Cole Caulfield's minus 135. Nick Suzuki is minus 188. If you want to take the guy that plays on the same line with Caulfield, with Suzuki at plus money, he's plus 105. So it's hard not to really like that one. You got to love the odds you're getting on that one. It's a pretty respectable price. So that's not too bad there with that one. All right, let's get back here. Let's go to the next one. Here we go. Boston and Washington. I don't know how anybody at all. I don't know one person that is high on the Boston Bruins going into this season. I don't know one person that has said anything good about this Boston Bruins team going into this year. I mean, this is a team that had an utter and complete collapse at the end of last year, finishing at the basement of the Atlantic Division. They were not a good team last year. I think this game, guys, if I were to give a free play on the Boston and Washington Capitals game, as much as I'll say overall, the first week of the season, I'll be looking towards overs. This is not a matchup that I see goals in. This might be my first under bet of the NHL regular season. Looking at the matchups, looking at the goal scoring, looking at how both these teams are going to play, unless we see physical hockey that leads to penalties and power plays and power play goals, I think we're going to see an under here. I think we're going to see under 5.5. This might be my first under of the regular season. People talk about when you play a certain team that doesn't have that many goal scorers, then it's pretty much going to be just, hey, make sure you mark one guy and then that's it. Well, that's pretty much going to be the deal with the Boston Bruins. David Pastrnak, and that's it, with them. There's not that many other options offensively. They let Brad Marchand go for practically nothing last year. That's it. So I like the under here, guys. Under 5.5, Boston, Washington. Probably my first play where I'm looking at an under on the season. So first period over, Montreal, Toronto. I think we do see that game start with a bang. That game means a lot to both teams. So maybe we do see tight defensively, but power play goals, both teams I think are going to have good power plays, especially Montreal is going to have a much better power play this year than in years past. But Boston and Washington will look towards the under in that one. Yeah, Joe, exactly. You're right. The team that let Brad Marchand out of their building, the team that just let Marchand walk out of their building. The Boston Bruins didn't want to give that much term to Brad Marchand because they probably thought he was too old and didn't know how long he was going to maintain everything. Well, look how good he played. I mean, the guy could have won a Conn Smythe trophy. The guy was unbelievable in the playoffs and looked great for the Florida Panthers. So, yeah, it's definitely their loss. All right, Joe, if you're still here, I got to get your thoughts. You can put it in the comments. We'll get you on the show sometime. Battle of Alberta. Battle of Alberta. I got to know. What do you think about that one, Joe Madden? Because we need to touch on that one. We need to look at that matchup because when you look at the Battle of Alberta, no matter what, it seems like it's always a good matchup when those two teams go together. Adrian, the Conn Smythe Trophy, it's the playoff MVP. Playoff MVP is what that is. So it's the award for the player that was the best on your team in the playoffs. Yeah, you've got it. You've got it. Yeah, so here's the deal. Obviously, the question we can remain is people said about Florida, and I was one of them, and it kind of ended up being true, even though Florida looked good today. The motivation for Edmonton at the start of the year. We know they're going to be good again this year. McDavid just signed that very generous contract. At the end of the day, how much do they care about this game 1 of 82 in the regular season? I think a lot. I think this is a team with something to prove. I think people thought they didn't really pick up that many guys, which they didn't. They're kind of right now running back a lot of the same guys. They're motivated. And this Calgary Flames team is going to tell us in their first couple of games which direction they're really going to go into. So Isaac Howard reportedly making his NHL debut with Edmonton in this game. So we'll see how that goes. The thing about the Flames is that they have really relied on goaltending a lot over the last 2 seasons. They had one of the best goaltending tandems in the league over the last 2 years. Can that really help them in this matchup? We'll see. Joe says fast start, then lock it down. Completely agree. This could be one of those games where you see a really good in-game under spot. Joe, I'm with you on that one. When it comes down to it, though, I think we're going to see the Oilers get the job done. This is not a spot where I want to look to back an underdog. We're going to see a motivated Edmonton Oilers team. Joe says, look for Wolf to stand on his head. McDavid will be firing. Yeah, maybe even just some shots on goal props and stuff like that. But I'll be honest, I might be looking at McDavid and the Oilers minus a half goal first period. Like, I might like this that much because if they've gone to the Stanley Cup Finals back-to-back years, lost, some might say, how much does game 1 of 82 matter? I think that they need to have that immediate impression that they are back and they're going to not mess around again this year and they're going to go right back. So I think this is a team that is probably going to be looking to get off to a really good start right away. So yeah, I think we'll look towards the first period puck line as far as that's concerned, because the Oilers are minus 225 in that game, guys. Minus 225. So if we take a look at it again, we look at the odds logic page. To me, this is the best way to go about this game because you're going to get a minus 225 number. You're going to turn it into a really healthy number here. Let's bring it up. Let's bring up odds logic once again. We got the first period minus a half goal. That's a pretty good number here, I would say here, guys. I mean, plus 127, plus 128, DraftKings plus 114. So make sure you shop around. Edmonton to win the first period is certainly intriguing. So we'll see how that goes. But I feel like they're going to get off to a really, really good start tomorrow. This is a team that I don't think will be messing around whatsoever. Guys, any games, anybody in here, if you're in here from Twitter, if you're in here from YouTube, drop any games you want me to talk about, any player props you want me to look at. But yeah, I think first period minus a half goal at that plus 125 price tag is a really good one there for them. All right. Looking at the next game, and this is the last game of the night. LA Kings, Vegas Golden Knights. And we have Brian in here. Brian said LA back-to-back. Do you like Vegas? You know, it's interesting because you ask yourself, how much do you care about the fact that it is a back-to-back for a team? And Brian, to be completely honest with you, it has a lot to do with how the game works out for the game. If the Avalanche absolutely steamroll the LA Kings, we're going to be looking at a focused group, a group looking to bounce back immensely right away, have their best effort, maybe even look towards a defensive game, an under, But if this game is close, it goes down to the wire. If LA wins, if it's a fatigued back and forth game, it goes to overtime. Could look at some tired legs, could look at a first period play on the Vegas Golden Knights. So the fact is, a lot of it does have to do with what happens in the result of the game tonight between Colorado and between LA. Having said that, last year, the Vegas Golden Knights were one of my favorite first period over teams in the league when a team coming to visit them was in the second half of a back-to-back. And that's immediately the case. So I get it. It's not like they're exerting themselves on a 4-game road trip, 5-game road trip. It's, their second game of the season, second game in as many nights. But hey, there's so much talent out there. Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel playing their first game together. I wouldn't talk anybody off looking at props on the Vegas Golden Knights, but I think that game could get off to a pretty good start with the over 1.5 goals with Vegas and LA. But yeah, it's interesting. That's the first back-to-back of the season. All right, guys, let's take a look at the lines here. We've got Barbashev, Eichel, Marner, Riley Smith, William Karlsson, Mark Stone, Brandon Saad, Tomas Hertl, and Pavel Dorofeyev. Those are the 3 top lines of the Vegas Golden Knights. So you head over to your sports book, you try and take a look at where the value is going to be. And so when I look at those and we try and track things down now, we try and look at the points, all right? Because I always want to use the line combos. I always want to oh, look, we don't even have it up right now because we already have LA still playing. So that's kind of disappointing. But I think right now the value is going to be looking at like Mitch Marner assists. So if you guys have ever bet those props, not just betting the point props or shot props, you're specifically betting on how they get the point. Do they get a goal? Do they get an assist? Or the power play point? I mentioned that on Puck Time today with certain guys on Colorado, how there's more value in betting the power play point than there is on just betting a regular point. And you're going to get a really, really nice plus price on that one. So, yeah, Mitch Marner assist is going to be a good one. Joe says Mitch Marner is definitely going to light it up. 100% agree with you. But I'll tell you, this third line is going to be really good. Brandon Saad, Tomas Hertl, and Pavel Dorofeyev, these 3 guys, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. This top line is absolutely stacked. But this third line is going to be really good as well. So I think it's going to be really interesting to look at. I think that's going to be a real team that is going to be putting up a ton of points. We'll see. I mean, this is a team that's going to have guys you can get, point props on Mark Stone. You can get point props on Dorofeyev. They're a team that's going to probably hit their team total over a lot on the season. But yeah, I'll tell you what, guys, this was one of my favorite first period over teams to bet all of last season when a team was playing second half of a back-to-back and visiting them and coming to town. So we'll look towards that. Russell says, what a disappointment in the playoffs, Mitch Marner. Yeah, you are right. You are right. But we'll see. I mean, now he doesn't have to be the main guy. There's Jack Eichel, there's Barbashev, there's Mark Stone. There's other guys that are there on this team. So maybe it takes some pressure off him, I think, potentially being with the Vegas Golden Knights and changing divisions, changing conferences. Maybe that helps. But guys, I want to shout out everybody in here right now and all of you guys that watched on YouTube and X in the debut with me and Carmine. Unbelievable. All the comments, all the likes. It was really, really awesome. Really appreciated all of you guys. And a ton, I don't even mean just a few of you guys, a ton of you guys bought my $5 Tuesday play. A ton of you guys. So super thankful for that. I saw a lot of you guys tweeting me about the free play with the first period over. That was awesome. I'm happy we all hit that with the Blackhawks and the Panthers. That one was really nice. I'm going to tell you guys, looking at this one here, my free play for tomorrow and looking back to odds logic here, I'm going to look at the free play for the show, for the pre-scout, is going to be the under in the Boston and Washington game, under 5.5. This is going to be a time that I think we're going to see two teams just absolutely shut things down, lock things down, play a really defensive game. There's lack of scoring on Boston as we start off the season with them. Washington, they're a crash and bang team. They're a physical team. They're not going to light up the stat sheet by any means. So I think for the play of the day, guys, the free play, this might end up being a client play as well. Who knows? Under 5.5. Every time I'm on here with you guys, we're going to give out a ton of plays, a ton of props, but this is definitely a free play that I like quite a bit here. Russell, I've been trying. I've been tweeting, making videos. We got 500 people in here right now. So I'm trying, but it's tough. Like right now, you got Yankees, Blue Jays going on. You've got late night baseball. You've got late night hockey. It's tough. Right now, it's late where I am, and I'm doing this show. I can't really do it any later. Hopefully it grows. Tomorrow, we've got Gabe Morency from Sports Grid joining. He's going to give us his picks for Thursday's slate. Going to tell some hockey stories as well, and I'm sure me and him will get into some good debates about certain players, certain teams, and all that good stuff. Mason, if you film it, they will come. Mason, if I ever get merch for this show, you'll be one of the first few that gets some on the house. A lot of you guys in here as well. So really appreciate everybody. Hector, he says Vegas Knights money line tomorrow. Again, I think a lot of it has to do with how the game goes tonight. Like, do you guys agree with me on that? How much different it is? If, LA wins tonight against Colorado versus if they lose, I think it matters. I mean, it's hard for me to bet those games where a team hasn't even played yet or they're about to play. It's not really sure. So LA Kings 1-1. There we go. That game, it's funny. Both games end up going under so far. Florida and Chicago and Pittsburgh, New York. Gotta love the underdog ticket there with Pittsburgh. Nobody liked Pittsburgh at all. And New York's picking up where they left off there. Montreal first period over. Gonna look at that one. Yeah, I like that one. I do like that one quite a bit. Look, Russell, last year when they played, and I'm a diehard Canadiens fan. Everybody knows that. 1-0 was the score of that game. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that game, the first game of the season for both those teams, finished 1-0. You got to think tomorrow's game comes out with a little more of a bang. And the Canadiens did lose 2 veteran players that played in their bottom 6 in the offseason. They lost Armia, they lost Dvorak, and they might not be household names, but a lot of people know who those guys are that are Habs fans and stuff, and they were really good defensive players. So any other thoughts you guys have before I wrap things up? But if not, I'll see you guys on Puck Time tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, of course. Yeah, I got to see what LA does tonight and how the morale is exactly. Lou, I'm a Penguins fan waiting for the crash out at some point. Look, everybody knows I'm a kind of a Penguins guy because of Crosby. I'm an Avalanche guy because of McInnis, because of where I'm from. Look, if the Penguins are going to be bad, they're not going to be bad right away. They're going to be bad, 10, 15 games into the season, 20 games into the season. Bad teams don't know they're bad yet. Plain and simple. Bad teams do not know they're bad yet. They're going to cash underdog tickets. Did the New York Rangers deserve to be that big of favorites to start off this season? Probably not. Probably not. 100%. Out of every single team that I cheer for, you see this stuff here, out of every single team I cheer for, the Canadians are the team that I follow the hardest. That's for sure, Russell. 100%. All right, guys, before I run out of here, I had a few of you guys hop on with me yesterday. And if you want to join, you want to jump in, we earned well over 20 units last regular season. We're going to do a lot better than that. We're off to a good start. This year, I'm incorporating props to the all access picks. You're going to get futures, sides, totals, team totals, props, whatever it is. If you decide to buy the full season, please make sure you use that promo code NHL200. Take $200 off. A lot of people, I don't know why, if you go to the page and you don't use this promo code, you're missing out on saving $200. So if you want to get all of my picks for the full entire season, use this promo code NHL200. If not, there are 7-day packages and 1-month packages available at wagertalk.com. As you guys can see right here, wt.buzz/am. And of course, you can follow me on X at McInnis Picks, and make sure you subscribe to Wager Talk TV and keep commenting below, guys. It really, really does help us out. So hope you enjoyed some of these picks. We'll see you tomorrow. Gabriel Morency, Sports Grid, joining me. Same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Pre-Scout.